Hello again, everyone. This is Rudolph Wilkins with Forgotten Fitness, and today I will be describing and demonstrating quite possibly the greatest biceps routine ever created. That being Larry Scott's No Rest Tri-Series. Of all the routines I have covered on this channel, this one is perhaps the most revered. Larry Scott even went on record saying these 3 exercises are all the biceps will ever need. Now you may ask yourself, what were these 3 exercises? How were they enough to grow the mountains of muscle we see on Larry Scott? Well, I am here to answer that for you today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this particular routine, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy this video. This routine can be found on page 79 of Loaded Guns. As Larry describes it, this is the greatest superset for biceps ever conceived. All 3 exercises will take place on a Scott bench, also known as a preacher bench. The idea with this is to pump the biceps with blood, while simultaneously stretching them to failure at the bottom. The first exercise is a dumbbell curl on the Scott bench. Here, you will pinch the elbows in, flare the hands out, and extend through the wrists at the bottom. In other words, you will be doing a wrist curl at the bottom portion. You see this in the demonstrations from Larry in various different forms of media. Heavy weight is key here, and the form does not necessarily need to be strict because you're trying to overload the biceps. The second exercise is a wide grip straight bar curl on a Scott bench, which is performed very much like the dumbbell curl, only very strict in this case. The third and final exercise is a reverse grip easy bar curl on the Scott bench. The elbows are once again pinched, but the extension on the wrist is not necessary since the hands are now pronated. Also, the form does not need to be strict here again because we're trying to overload the biceps. One tip with this exercise is make sure to hold the easy bar curl on the outermost grip so that you can get that excessive pinching you need for that full stretch of the biceps on the bottom. Now I will describe the routine itself, the sets, and the reps you will need to perform. Going over the routine itself, all exercises are performed in sequence as a superset. And you will follow each set of each exercise with 4 burns or burnouts at the top, which will be 1/4 the range of motion. All 3 exercises you will perform for between 4 to 5 sets of 6 reps, with those burns following the 6 reps of each exercise. And remember, this is a superset, so you should quickly go from one exercise to the next until the set is over before you can rest. Now I will demonstrate each exercise for you. And the first exercise, the Scott dumbbell preacher curl. As you can see, my elbows are pinched. One thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure your elbows are towards the top of the pad. You don't want your upper arm to lay against the pad at all. You want really your elbow to be against the top of the pad, and you'll lay your lower arm, your forearm, on the pad. So you'll go all the way down and extend through the hands at the bottom, as you can see me doing here. And then you will curl back up, starting with the wrist up through the biceps to really get the full range of motion. Another thing I want to say, yes, my arms are flared, but they do not look as flared as Larry's. I am aware of this. I am built very different than him. I'm almost a foot taller than Larry Scott. I'm 6'5.5" or so, and he was 5'7". So biomechanically, it doesn't look quite the same, but I can honestly tell you with just 20-pound dumbbells, I was feeling this immediately. It is a wonderful exercise. And remember, after you do those 6 reps, you're going to do the 4 burns, and then immediately we will go on to the Scott wide grip barbell curl. As I have already explained, this exercise is done very similar to the dumbbell preacher curl we just performed. The main difference here is this is a more strict exercise. So really the weight, when you go up to that heavy poundage, this should be the lightest of the 3 exercises because you want your form to be incredibly strict. Myself, I have my body pressed right up against the bench. I have the seat elevated very high, so again, my elbows are all that's touching the top of the bench as far as my upper arm goes. And then I am dropping all the way down and extending through the hand once again. These felt incredible, and I think part of that is because of that wide grip you have on the barbell. The stretch is insane. I've never really felt anything like this, and I actually prefer this exercise to Vince Gironda's original variation because of that heavy pinching in the elbows. It is a really fantastic exercise. Just like the previous exercise, you're going to do the 4 to 5 sets of 6 reps, and then after those 6 reps, you'll do the 4 burns, as you can see me doing here, and then we will go on to the final exercise. The reverse curl is very similar to the other two in the way it's performed. The biggest difference now is the hands are pronated. You're gripping the curl bar on the outermost knurling, and you're working on that brachialis muscle as well, right? The forearm muscle. You're going all the way down and all the way back up. You don't really have to extend, right, because the hands are turned over. And then once you get to the top, you'll be doing the 4 burns after the 6 reps. So it's functionally very similar to the other two, but I tell you, you do these as a circuit and you have never felt anything like it. It truly is one of the greatest supersets ever conceived by man, and it makes sense considering the best biceps ever were Larry Scott. He knew how to train the biceps, and there's really nobody better to learn from. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. This is a routine I really should have covered ages ago, but I finally got a really nice preacher bench to actually perform them on, and I finally felt like it was time. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. But until next time, this is Forgotten Fitness, signing out. Bye-bye.